Mario mentioned coming out of the scrimmage, he felt like Ty maybe had the best day that day. How's everybody responded to that? You know, whether it's him coming back from that or the other guys kind of answering the challenge?
No, I think the guys come out every day. They compete against the standard. So, you know, certainly the scrimmage was a snapshot of you know, what people were able to see relative to camp and you know, the quarterback's development, but it's just a small piece of it. So the guys, it hasn't really changed anything because we hold the guys to standard. We expect them to come out and execute at a very high level. So from that standpoint, of one guy having a nice day, it really hasn't changed anything in their approach.
What do you feel like you learned from the scrimmage about this team, good or bad?
About the team?
Yeah.
I think it really, more than anything, just reinforced. We have a very strong culture. I think, you know, we have talent, we have depth. The kids compete, and like any fall camp, you know what I mean. There's gonna, and you know, the best teams I've been around, there's always a give and take between the offense and the defense, and it changes by day, or changes by play, or changes by period. And then we've got a great culture. I think those are the things that the scrimmage you know, reinforced for me.
What's the biggest thing you look for from going to week 1 into week 2
overall?
Yeah.
You know, just a continued development of the offensive unit relative to their understanding of the scheme, how hard they play, and the execution on the field. So you just want to see, you know, for particularly the young guys, not just, you know, what they're doing, but how they're doing it, and then the older guys just taking it to a different level.
Do you see them kind of grasping more of that offense that you talked about, opening up the playbook a lot more, having that full offseason? Do you see that kind of translating out there? Or?
Yeah, I mean, you're never going to tell them it's good enough, and they're never going to, you know, reach the standard that you set for them. But there is an improved level of execution, and we just got to get better with our consistency.
You talked about you saw to that scrimmage on Saturday.
Yeah.
What about the players? The 4 practices since that time, have you seen anybody step up, you know, in regards to how they played on Saturday versus how they want to play now?
No, and like I said, the scrimmage is a snapshot. You know, we had a bunch of opportunities before that, and you know, I think we, you know, coach pushes everybody to compete at a high level every day. And I think, at least offensively speaking, you know, it's you know, you see a different guy step up every day, you know, in a different position group. So that's a good thing to see, that it's not one guy consistently standing out. I think, like I said, we have a lot of depth and see a bunch of guys having their moments throughout the course of practice.
Is there a position group that's really stood out for you these last 2 weeks?
I'm sorry?
A position group that's really stood out these last 2 weeks?
They've all had their moments. It's tough to say. I think the depth has stood out, and I think the experience of the older guys and the potential and talent of the young guys, I would say across the board, that's been a consistent thing.
How has Seven McGhee's camp gone? I guess.
Oh, Seven?
Yeah.
I love that kid. He, you know, excited about football, appreciative to be here every day. Incredibly talented. Coach Master does a great job teaching him and developing. But I think he's very dynamic, very explosive, very fast. Does a great job catching the football. You know, I think he's had a very good camp so far, and I think he's got an incredibly high ceiling. Great kid to be around too.
I was just gonna say, can he have a similar role like that Kadai does, where he can be an option in the pass game and in the run game?
I think that's to be determined. You know, right now we're just teaching the offense and, like I said, knowing what to do and how to do it. But in terms of usage relative to a game, I think that's yet to be determined.
He's obviously very electric. He's physical too. Like, is he kind of sneaky physical? That, I mean, you need to take that into account as well.
No, I mean, you look at him physically. I mean, he's packed in there. And you guys may not. He reminds me a lot of a kid I had at Fordham, Chase Edmonds, who's a starting tailback for the Cardinals now. You know, just physicality, mentality-wise, explosiveness. He's kind of built the same. You know, I see a lot of similarities there.
Do you feel like him and Byron throw him into a game, you know, if need be, and like they can contribute a little bit? Or?
Well, Onyx is barking over there.
Those shots got him going.
Yeah. Love that dog. I think it's probably it'd be a bit speculative at this point. From a talent standpoint, absolutely. But you know, it's different when you're out there and the whistle blows and you can restart the play. And when you're in there and there's no lifeguard on duty, and you kind of gotta, you know, there's no do-overs.
What's the progress you want to see in the second scrimmage that's coming up? What are you looking for?
I mean, it's you know, I think we're very fortunate to be able to go against a defense of this caliber on a daily basis. You know, Coach always uses the term, you know, iron sharpens iron. So another opportunity to go against a great defense and to help push them to get better, and those guys challenge us. But I think we did well in the situational part of the scrimmage overall. Third down, red zone, 2 minutes. I think we had in goal line we had a good moments there. In the drive part we had 1 touchdown, and I mean you guys would know. I think 4 of the other drives were past the 35 and going in, and they were stopped because of there's a play count on the drive. So I'd like to do a little better in the scrimmage part of it, and I know those drives will be extended, and then kind of ramp up what we did situationally.
So AB talked about this connection that you two have, even about around football, but beyond football, about being Northeast guys, being Jesuit school guys. Just can you speak to just outside of football and outside of play, design and those sorts of things, the relationship you have with this quarterback?
No, I think that's one thing. Because it's here 23 or 24, I've always valued the relationships I've created with kids I've coached, and hear from everyone going back to Pitt as a GA, Akron, Georgetown, everywhere I've been. I hear from kids, and we actually have a lot of similarities. Catholic school, high schools, Jesuit colleges, a lot of same interest. Know a lot of the same people, but Anthony's he's a great kid. First and foremost, take the football part out of it. So we have a good relationship.
Sorry you've been asked about it before, I'm sure you were, but running backs, just what have you seen from the freshmen in particular, 7 and Byron?
A ton of depth overall. Coach Master does an unbelievable job, with the older guys. Good to see Trey get back in the fold. But it's like a neat little, 1-2 punch with Byron and 7. They're a little bit different style of runner, bring a little bit different to the table. But there's a lot of very high ceiling there. And excited about those guys' potential.
What have you seen from your freshman receivers this year that might make you think they're a little bit more advanced or a little bit more ahead of schedule than other freshmen?
Yeah, I think with Dante and Troy, it's the fact that they've been here, since January. So they've had 15 opportunities the whole spring, and both those guys are doing a nice job of making plays. And Isaiah's come in, with the rest of the other freshmen, and he's actually, we're gonna get him up to speed on knowing what to do. But he's talked to Coach BMAC, who's done a phenomenal job with those young guys. Isaiah's made a lot of plays and caught a lot of touchdowns in camp. So I think between the 3 of those guys, it's an impressive as a true freshman recruiting class that I've been around in a long time.
For Isaiah, you mentioned him, and again the 2 freshman running backs since they arrived in the summer. You've been around where obviously a lot of guys show up in the summer as opposed to mid-year, but in the first scrimmage you get them opportunities to see if they validate, get more. It seemed like those 3, I mean, you tell me, but it seemed like those 3 made those plays like you talk about and validate that they could do more.
Yeah, and that's, it's as we continue through the installation process, which we finished up on Monday, and you were talking to one of the guys, it transitions from them knowing what to do to how to do it. And I think you see those guys with a lot of natural ability. They're obviously very well coached. Now it's about them taking the next step in the process and kind of just refining everything. But definitely 4 playmakers.
Having a second year.
5.
Last question.
Having a second year around Johnny Johnson, just his growth, his development. What have you seen so far from him?
Johnny, he's a consummate leader. He's a phenomenal teammate. He's an incredibly hard worker. He's a talented player, and I don't know. He's a guy that whether or not he's elected, that guy to me is like captain material. So he's everything that guy does on and off the field is to me what the term student athlete, at the NCAA level should stand for.
Thank you, Coach.
Thanks, Coach.
Awesome, guys. Y'all have a great day.